First, we have to
Oh,
be
no,
like
wait,
testing 1, 2, 3, and then
Yeah.
Abby test 1, 2, 3, and then Jesus test 1, 2, 3, and so on, and then we can just start. So I can just cut that off.
I forget it's like a live stream and not like a video. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Once we get equipment and everything, we should be good to go.
Okay. Well, it says we're live. I don't see it popped up on the YouTube channel, but it says we're live.
I don't see it either. I think it might be on yours. Well,
Oh no.
Let's see. I'm gonna search up Jesus. Your last name is Perez, right, Jesus? Or how do you have yourself on the YouTube thing?
Well, no, I'm signed out. Oh wait, yeah, Jesus Perez. Oh no, wait. It says my subscription, the Q Project UC Merced is live, so we should be. Maybe you just gotta refresh the page.
We just gave him a little plug for people to subscribe to his channel.
Cool.
What?
Oh, it says live.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show me the video, the actual live.
Okay, so I'm gonna click on this. Yeah, what?
It says that we're live.
Do the lives get saved after they end?
Oh, I can see your screen.
Oh
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it.
Well, I started the recording on the Streamlabs, so I think either way we should do it.
Do the lives get saved after they end?
Alright, so it's working. Alright, are you gonna do testing?
Well,
I hope it didn't show anything.
On the Streamlabs, so I think maybe my emails.
Oh no!
Oh no!
So it's working.
Okay.
I don't know. You were like the Tiaquan or something like that website.
What? Oh, this one.
Oh my goodness! Leaking information left and right.
Right.
Well, this one applies. I was gonna choose that as talking point. So.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, we're live. My name is Jesus, and I am streaming from Merced.
My name's Abby, and I'm streaming from Orange.
Everyone, my name's Jessica. I'm streaming from LA.
Okay, so today our stream topic is colleges, specifically our hardships that we've faced being college students. So, first is Jesus.
Okay, so let me. Is that okay? Good, you can't see that. Oh no! Everything went blank.
Well, I can start while Jesus is fixing it. I just want to put out there that this is our third stream. We've been working hard, and hopefully we get to a point where we can, go ahead and start, and we're technically professionals, quote unquote. So hopefully that works out. Just a big disclaimer. Beginning. Anyways, like Abby said, there's a lot of hardships that come with just being in college. And specifically being a first generation student. I am a first generation student. I don't know if Abby and Jesus are.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, looks like I got it, but did you want to continue or did you want me to go for it?
I'll continue and just say that it's it's a difficult process because a lot of times we technically don't know what we're doing. We're the first in our family, and that means we don't have anyone to rely on when it comes to like, you know, learning and everything. And I just want to share the experience of like, you know, this is like a shared experience with my mother. She went back to going to school. Before she was working. Well, she wasn't really working. She was kind of just doing like jobs that would pop out, if anything did. And when I would be at school, I'd be like, you know, trying to get into colleges, doing essays, writing stuff down, reading a book. And many of the times I'd be told like, oh, hurry up, help me do this, help me do that. And like, there's a lot of stuff that we're told to do on extra, like on top of our work. And a lot of the times, like I said, being a first generation, we kind of have to do that because we don't know anything else but getting our family first and then working on ourselves. And my family just didn't know what it meant to be, you know, trying to get into a university. None of my parents were at a university at the time. And until later on that I kind of just, you know, nudged my mom into getting an associate's degree, and like telling her, because I think it was like the first year that I started college, she also started college, and she got a little taste of what being a student is. And being like, hers was a little bit more difficult because the classes were taught in English, and she didn't know that much English, so she had to go through an ESL program. But it was, you know, she started seeing that all the time that I was saying, Mom, I'm doing homework, I can't do this. It wasn't just an excuse. It was more of, I really can't do this because I'm trying to understand this concept, and I can't go and, you know, help you. I can't go and help you set up the tables. Like, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, because not because I don't want to. It's because I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to understand where my time's gonna go. Because a lot of the times our families don't prioritize education. And being the first generation, we're just kind of like doing all this for our family. And thank God, like right now I'm like, you know, starting this process, and I already am 3 years in this process, that I'm to a point where I can be like, oh, Mom, check your financial aid at this point, do this at that point. And like my brother, I'm like, hey, have you submitted, this is the deadline for like UC applications, this is the deadline for FAFSA applications, get this going, get that going. I'm like kind of relating that information that when I started doing it, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of just Googling everything, or going with my academic counselor at my high school and trying to figure out everything on my own, and then having to do extra stuff at home and not knowing what to do. And then slowly I learned, like, you know, not everyone goes through that. Not everyone goes through having to help their parents cooking, or help their parents, you know, move things around, or help their parents with bills, or help their parents with a lot of stuff. Like, not everyone goes with that. A lot of students have the I guess the benefit of focusing on school and focusing on what they want to do, and their parents have this like vision of their future, while my parents are like the vision of right now. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my experience on college, and my experience as of being a first gen. If anyone wants to chime in here now and share their experience, and then we can just kind of talk about it.
Jesus, did you want to add on to that, or?
So yeah, because I attended a local college. So I lived on the dorm the first year, but then once I realized that was expensive and I should just live at home because that would be a smart financial decision. That's what I did, and yeah. So in my case, I guess as a, you know, coming from like a um, lower income um, family, like I didn't want to give the burden to my parents. So what I ended up doing was like any of my costs, I would take care of them. Internet, the car insurance, cell phone, all that. But yeah, so it's kind of hard to just. So I took out loans for that, and later on, I was able to get a job on campus. But yeah, I definitely like feel like it's not just classes. You have all this other stuff going on. Um, Yeah, I definitely felt that.
Yeah, the financial burden is a big thing.
Yeah.
I think like I don't know if this is a shared experience as well, but yeah, making the decision of not living on campus. So for my first year, I didn't live on campus. I know like when I was coming out of high school, one of the the mandatory things or something that they make mandatory on campus at UC Merced, where we're all from, was the first year on campus dorming. Um, and I kind of, there was a mishap where I didn't have a dorm. They kind of was like, oh, are you a first year? And I was like, yes, I'm a first year. And they're like, oh, you know what I mean? So I kind of didn't have that dorm experience, and it kind of saved me money. It saved me a lot of money that I could, invest somewhere else, invest in books, invest in like buying a backpack, like stuff that, I mean, in high school I would depend on my parents to do. But luckily I was able to get financial aid, and I was able to get help from the school, where I kind of, um, where it was able to manage that on my own without having to be like, hey mom, dad, I don't think I can continue going to college because it's expensive here. um, and I think that's one of the best things that UC Merced has. It has such a great financial aid that like it can keep me above water. And even though we're like the very new school, um, we're doing a lot of things that are changing, um, and it's a lot of the students doing it too, which I'm very proud of personally. um, and so yeah, I didn't have a first year dorming experience, which saved me money, like Jesus was saying, the financial burden. um, I don't know if you guys dormed on campus at all.
I did. I
Yeah.
had the experience of chasing raccoons around campus,
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was a fun experience for sure. I think it's something that if you are allowed to, you should probably do. Because I met a lot of people my first year, and that's usually where you find your friend groups. But not everyone has the luxury to do that. So.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, because I wouldn't say I have no friends, but I have very minimal
Mm-hmm.
people who I'm just like not talking, not in like a working environment like this. We're technically I at least take this and being with the Q project as a job, as working and moving things along in a very professional setting where I distinguish both my personal and professional part. But when I, like, when I'm not streaming, or when I'm not writing a report, or when I'm not coming up with ideas for new streams, I'm usually not hanging out with a lot of people. I tend to keep to myself, and that just might be a byproduct of not being in the dorms, because I know that in the summer I was able to dorm. I was doing a summer bridge opportunity that UC Merced was giving, and it was a fun experience. It was a short-lived experience, but it was fun. And that's where I actually was able to get my housing. I was able to communicate with one of the students there, and I was like, hey, so I don't have housing, what should I do? And they were like, hey, well, me and my friends are planning to move, do you want to just like come with us? We're just gonna figure it out. And I was like, yeah, because I rather you know be in a house than be in a car or be out in the street. And there's students who have to go through that because they don't want to tell their parents, hey, I can't pay for on-campus housing. um, yeah. What are some struggles as like as a first generation that you guys face personally, if that's okay with you guys sharing?
I think for me, the biggest issue was not having someone that I knew that had the college experience. As you mentioned, you had to Google a lot of things, figure out stuff on your own. And that's exactly what I had to do as well. And I think that's really difficult, you know, because you really have to depend on yourself. And if you don't do it, no one else is going to push you to do it. Right.
Yeah.
And especially my parents, they didn't really understand as well because they didn't go to college. It was kind of like, gotta struggle on my own. It was really difficult, the whole application process. But yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of this, like I just kind of relied on other friends who some of them were also first generation, so we were kind of just figuring stuff out together, like Jessica was saying. Um,
Mm.
yeah, like for example, I chose UC Merced just because I saw it was the biggest number um, on the financial aid package, so that kind of took a lot of relief, um, gave me a lot of relief because I wouldn't have to worry too much about that. Oh, and I had also toured the campus, and it's like a really this is a beautiful campus. Like there's a lot of good views, and the buildings, they're like a new building pops up almost every year, so it's like
Oh, that's true.
they're shiny, eye appealing.
Yeah, they're shiny. You're like, ooh, let me go check it out. Like, ooh, I've had so on the summer bridge that I was in, I had one of the students who had graduated recently come back for like a little talk, and he was like, when I was here, there was only COB, like that little area at the top of the hill. That's it. And now there's like an area where there's more housing. There's like the extra classroom. Now there's a tennis court. Like who would have thought, And they're building a pool, which I hope to one day be able to see,
True.
if anything. But yeah, it's really amazing that we are first gen, but we're also like the first to like be on campus and see all the new buildings, and like there's a lot of good stuff that comes from being a first generation. Like don't get us wrong, to the people who will soon see this video, don't get us wrong, like first generation isn't just like, oh damn, it's really hard and we wish we weren't first gen, because I don't wish I wasn't first gen. I wish I could like continue being that person who's starting something new, the person who's going to be able to like have my parents last name on a building. Like that's one of my aspirations. I have many aspirations, but that's one of my long-term goals, to like have something that I can say, hey, like this isn't just mine, this is everybody's struggles, everybody's hardships that I'm helping carry forward and helping lift for the people who are coming after me. Like this is the struggles that I'm facing right now, but let's move it along. Let's not see it as struggles. Let's not just contemplate on the bad things, but also look at the good things. I'm the first to understand what financial aid is. I'm the first to leave my house. Like my cousins, my relatives, they're I mean, there's one that went to UC Davis. That's at UC Davis, and we're both sharing that experience of like learning to be on our own and being separate from our family. Because that was one of my biggest, like, I was really scared of that, being a first generation, because I grew up with my family and being in this hub where like family's everything and you don't leave family, and family, like that Fast and Furious quote, like we're family or whatever, and family doesn't it's bigger than blood and all that. Like that was our thing. I come from a very I guess old-fashioned culture. Like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of Guatemalan superstitions that I still follow, and a lot of stuff that I take to Merced, and do at Merced, because I want to stay close to my family. But also, learning that in my social class, a lot of people who are first generations tend to separate from their family. I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't have a specific article to quote, but in my sociology class, like that was a topic that was brought up, and it was like a lot of first generation people who are able to pass college, because there's a lot of first generations in college, but do they complete college? That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
So the first generations that are in college tend to move away from their family, and that scares me, because I want to be with my family forever. I want to have them close to me forever, but we're learning that no, that's not how it happens, and we're learning to adult, but we're also learning to be on our own, like as a first gen, a complete different environment than what we're used to at home. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. And then there's also, you kind of touch on this subject that I wanted to, I guess, further expand on, like the pressure from your family. Um, like in the cartoon that you can see right here, it says feels pressure from family to succeed. For example, I had um, so, my uncles, asking me, or my dad, my parents or cousins, they're like, "Oh, are you are you still in college?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still." What do you mean? but
Oh,
at least in my personal experience, it actually took me I think it was 6 years. Yeah, I think it was like the full 12 semesters to be able to graduate, and that's just because well, I had quite a few struggles, but in so included in those struggles are switching from CSE. I started off computer science, and then halfway through I switched over to mechanical engineering, because as I took some elective classes in the CSE program that were mechanical, I'm like, oh, I kind of like actually enjoyed this. Whereas coding, I'm like, yeah, is so the reason I switched is because I another reason I switched was because I couldn't see myself on my free time going sitting down and writing some code, whereas I could see some of my other classmates on their free time,
Oh, I
they were
think you're
doing
cutting
that.
off.
So like and and yeah, it's so I went ahead and switched over. But yeah, I was in there for 6 years, and yeah, I people were always asking me like, "Oh, are you graduated yet? Do you have a job yet?" Um,
Yeah.
oh
No, I
man, I
think,
feel
yeah.
that.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel that. Like, my parents all the time, they'll be like, "Oh, we're waiting for you to graduate so we can buy a house, and you gotta
Oh,
make that money. You're gonna pay for
yeah.
my surgeries." And I'm like, I haven't even graduated yet.
yeah, there's that like in my opinion, it's like unrealistic expectation that like if you go to college, well, at least from from my
Mhm.
family and from my background, like you go to college and like you magically get this ticket and like you win, like
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
have a job, you're making a lot of money, and that's not, although that can happen, that's not I would say I can't I can't say that everyone who goes to college will experience that. um
Yeah. I think, yeah, like it's always goes back to the American dream. Like you have a college degree, you're gonna have if you have a college degree, you're gonna have a house, you're gonna have a dog, you're gonna have a car, like the latest
hmm
model, you're gonna have everything. And it's a dream that we grew up doing. And like for example, I also had to change my major, and that's one of like the things that like really affected my situation in college. Well, it didn't really affect that much, but it was more of like how I felt about myself in college, because I was like, wait, do I just not know what I'm doing? What am I gonna do? Like, should I change? Should I not change? Like, I understand that CSC is like an uprising industry, and like that's something that we can get into, and like cybersecurity, and I'm really thrilled with cybersecurity and web designing and stuff like that I like doing on a freelance basis or on like my own free time. But like Jesus said, I wouldn't see myself coding all day every day or trying to push out an app within a certain time limit. I just saw myself coding because it was fun. It was a nice thing to do, and to be able to see that, hey, I actually created that website that showcases X, Y, and Z. Um, yeah, like I wish I would have been okay. Like for a good year, I wasn't okay with me switching. I was like, oh damn, like should I go back? Should I go back? Like, am I gonna go back? Am I gonna do this? And like having to doubt myself all the time, because then I was like, oh my god, if I switch right now, then I'm gonna have to like stay an extra year, and that's like not acceptable. I need to graduate within 4 years. And then slowly being with the Q project, I kind of like understood that no, if we graduate within 4 years, like there's not gonna be any results out of that. And if we graduate within 5 years, not much is gonna change. And if we graduate within like 6 years, that's nothing else is gonna change. So it just you're just prolonging the moment. But But if you graduate within 4 years, you're giving them an extra number to add on to their list of graduates. And I don't want to get out of college without knowing what I'm going to do. Like, I want to at least know something and be out there and ready to go without thinking, oh, I need to leave now and I have to figure out the rest later.
Yeah, definitely. Good points.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, well, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm looking at my timer and it says we're at just about 25 right now.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I don't know if we should make it a second video later on, maybe saying some of the things that did work, like, because I feel like maybe
you do a little college tips.
Yeah,
for sure. Let's do that. So then subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're gonna do another one saying that we're gonna things that do work. The positives.
So the key.
So there's a lot.
Yeah.
There is.
Okay. Any, I guess, closing statements?
Please subscribe.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for the next video. I think if you definitely feel and understand what we're saying, then the next video will definitely will also help you out.
For sure.
Yeah. I think I also want to close off with just saying that thank you for listening, because this is hopefully a way for us to also get to someone who needs this information, who might, feel this way, and who we can benefit, because I would have liked someone to tell me this. And instead of seeing a video that's, nicely edited but doesn't have the information I want because they haven't gone through the experience that I've gone, or they don't have the ideas that I have, or, other stuff like that, and not being able to relate to a video, then I kind of want this video to be relatable, and that's why we kind of want to just talk. And if we go over time, that's because we're doing it. We're just kind of talking and sharing our experience so people can kind of feel that their experience is not the only one, and that there's other ways to manage it.
For sure. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say,
Okay.
So, outro.
Yeah.
Streamies out.
Okay.
Streamies out. Oh my God. Jesus, say that.